Hey there, guys, gals, fans, and pals. Your buddy JohnMegacycle here. Another episode of, actually, another closed tournament of the OpenTTD Megacycle Entertainment hosted tournaments. This one is called Truck Lord Mk3, and the gimmick behind this one is all the trucks, all the time. So, players were allowed 10 trains, or 5 trains? I should look up the rules real quick. People were allowed a handful of trains. They were allowed no aircraft, no boats whatsoever, but they were allowed 5,000 trucks, 10 trains, 5,000 trucks. 1980 to 2000, we had 20 years to become the best company, and that's measured generally by company value. So that's pretty much how that works. I'm going to show you the new GRFs that we used. We used first names as town names, base cost mod, logic semaphores, and this one, EGRBTS version 2.1. This added some variety to the trucks, and I've got all the information here. So these are what we used for this tournament. Worked out pretty well, I think. I liked them. I liked them pretty just fine. Pretty just fine. So yeah, added, like I said, way new trucks, double-decker trucks for passengers, double-length trucks for hauling freight. Lots of cool stuff. So we'll get into it. I'm going to go ahead and pop on some music real quick, y'all. Just some lo-fi, something in the background, so we have something here. But we're going to do what we normally do. We'll go through the tournament one by one. I'm trying to make these kind of quick, like I say. I don't want these to take too terribly long. Because you might as well have just participated in the tournament. You know, right? I might as well just do the thing. So we're going to motor through these pretty quick. First one is Cinder Elm Creek, Muir and Co. So we're going to go ahead and check out their whole dealy. Let's first of all get their company value. 1.147 million is how I'm going to document that. Let's go ahead and pop up in their details. In case anyone's curious about their maintenance and such, it's good to just touch on that real quick. So we have that set. So there you go. There's all of that information. Let's go ahead and check out their build. Oh, we started with the thanks, John. Alrighty, that was really fast. Thanks, John. Oh, that's adorable. Thank you, Cinder Elm Creek. Yeah, if I didn't have that set up, I might not have even seen it. So good stuff. Okay, let's just take a quick pull-out view. We're going to pop over to some of their stuff. So they've built a couple of lumber mills, right? And the lumber mills are going to most likely a factory of some sort. Yep, down here. And then that factory is running goods all the way up into Amy and Daniel. I'm sure of it. If I had to guess, that'd be where I'm sure of it. So let's see here. Yep, Daniel. Yep, right on. So you've got a couple of routes right there. Let's go ahead and minimize the view. Yeah, so that's how they kind of split the line. That's pretty interesting. Two different spots like that. They're both pulling... Well, one is dropping off lumber. Amy Valley's dropping off the lumber. Amy Forest is bringing the goods to the town. So that's a very, very clean setup, yeah? Trucks are nice because since you can't do diagonals, which is a little unfortunate, but whatever, you always are guaranteed nice, clean lines, kind of no matter how it slices. Looks like we've got a similar thing over by Robert and Barbara over here, yeah? Very smart getting as many of these as you can grouped up like this. That's a very smart play. Yep, absolutely. The only real limitation is you can't build them next to factories. And you also have to put them in these green areas, I believe. I don't think you can build them in the desert. I think the game actually gives a rip about that. So you'll see that all the sawmills that have been created by Cinder Elm Creek are in these green blotched areas. These are just literally forest zones. So you can see right here, lots of good coverage and such. I don't know if the game will allow you to place it on manually placed forest. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, we're just going to check out a few more of their routes here. Over here, we've got the same thing, sawmill, and actually it looks like a rubber plantation, which I don't know if the rubber plantation's used even. Let's take a gander. I see rubber, or I see lumber. I don't see rubber. So the rubber is not actually used. Actually, the rubber might be just coincidence. Or maybe they built this up so that way it'd be available for later. Let's also take a look at their trains. Their trains look like they are passenger trains. And they are just going from Margaret all the way to Joyce. Yep, that's making some good money on that. Let's go ahead and get that map back open. See if there's any other routes we want to dip into. Otherwise, like I said, I'm trying to keep this kind of quick, kind of light. The cool thing about this tournament is after I do the summary video, I release the passwords to everyone on the server. So if someone wants to go poke around, they can until we restart for the next tournament. So there's a lot of really great opportunities for growth and development if players wanted to really get in and be like, well, how could I do my stuff better? How did John do his setup? How did Cinder Elm Creek do their rails? How did blah, blah, blah. There's all that stuff that's always available at the end of the tournament. So, like I said, after this summary video, I'll post all the stuff, and then folks can go ahead and poke around. So this is the goods pickup. Goods is bringing that all the way to Genediah? Maybe Genediah. Hard to tell. Hard to say, hard to tell. So that kind of wraps it up for Cinder Elm Creek. Let's go ahead and take a look at their storybook, right? Mir and Co. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this open. This is, again, courtesy of The Dude. They wrote the scripting thing for this whole thing. So this takes a value on every year, their income, their cargo, how much stuff they've pushed, the population of the world, and how many vehicles they had going on. So this worked out very well. You can see all the digits and how they came to that 114.7 million. Oh my gosh. I need stronger coffee. Or probably just more coffee. Let's see. Is there anything else to cover? Oh, I know some folks do enjoy to see the trucks sorted by shared orders. So I'm going to guess, well, this one's goods, clearly. This one is also goods. Okay, so a lot of goods runs going on here. Lumber, goods. Probably rubber or oil. I'm going to guess rubber if I had to go. Oh, water. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Looks like we got some congestion on the back 9. Yep, just going through. And this isn't even a problem. Vehicles just clip inside of each other. No problem as they're leaving. So this setup, you might look at this and be like, well, there's going to be a clear backup. Not really. Not really. It's not that big of a deal. And they use the one-ways like I do. That's dope. I think it adds a little bit of flavor to it, using the one-ways. I like the way that looks. So, all right. Cinder Elm Creek. Well done. Gosh dang it, 114.7 million. I keep telling myself I'll get it right eventually. That's not going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to happen. All right, this one is Gill Games. Trucks go burr burr. All right, let's take a look at their company value. I'm going to call that 530 million. That's what I'm going to call that right down. This is their infrastructure for trucks go burr burr. So there's that. Well done. So we play these tournaments for 20 years. We started in 1980 and end in 2000. And these are all based on votes of what people think and such. We could always change them. We always vote. Holy crap, that was fast. Found the thanks, John. Oh my god. Ah, cool. That's done with Rail. That's well done. I like that very much. Very sweet. I don't ask people to do it. They do it for the funsies of it. So it's always cool to see. All right, so a lot of interconnected stuff, clearly. Let's just start picking at some of this. Oh, very nice. Oh, that's got to get some real great coverage. Yeah, Frank and Farah. Real nice pull, and that goes all the way to... Oh, gosh, everything's very nicely connected. Sarah Heights. That is a hell of a bridge. What? I mean, all right, whatever. Wow. Wow. Barbara East. All right. So this is getting goods, right? And then this is most likely getting all manners of stuff. Yep. We got some sawmills at distances. We got some oil at distances. Much of this is connected. Yeah. Very clean. Very clean. So what's up with this? Okay, that's covering... There must have been rubber here at one time. Yeah, there must have been rubber here at one time, and it just fell apart. So you got lumber. I'm sure that's bringing lumber to a bunch of... Yeah, a bunch of lumber is being brought here. Then the lumber's being pulled out, I'm sure, and brought to... Oh, up here, clearly, yeah. Yep. That gets all dropped off and stuff. That's very clean. Yeah, that's a really clean setup. What else? There's always a lot to talk about. But to kind of keep it fair, I want to keep it, you know, keep it light, keep it fluffy, kind of a thing. That's what I'm aiming for. You can really get a lot of information as you see a lot of the routes being connected just as is. So we got oil going to this refinery, refineries picking up the goods are going somewhere else. Oh, this is what they did for their rail, passengers and such. That makes perfect sense. The passenger routes are always going to make very good baseline money whenever you play the game, or I'm going to say this really generally, whenever I play the game. I usually start off with passengers. Passengers are really great because they allow for routes to make money both ways. Your train or truck or whatever is full 100% of the time. It's very good. It's very good. If you're hauling something like coal or lumber or livestock or grain or whatever, you're only really getting paid 50% of the time, right? Train goes and loads up. It spends half of its duration on the track getting to the factory or whatever. It unloads and then it's empty on the way back. So, routes that allow for money to be made both ways are incredibly powerful. Is incredibly powerful? It's incredibly powerful. I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, using passengers for your 10 train limit was actually really smart. That's a solid play indeed. Realistically, we've got a lot more of these interconnections as such. I don't know what else to really go for to discuss, really. Other than a solid job by Guild Games. Yeah, lots of stuff got connected, just slapped together a bunch of routes, and with everything connected, you can really move a lot of stuff. Yeah, these longer distances pay off more, and with the limit of trucks, you could always go with more trucks, yeah? So, let's talk about Truckscober. We're going to get their company info right here. Get that loaded up all the way so you can see the whole thing. Very solid, 64 mil every year, tons of cargo, tons of vehicles, yep. That puts us at our number. Yeah, absolutely. I called it 530. I think that's a fair take. 530 million. Yeah, that works out pretty well. Anything else to discuss? Let's talk about shared orders. You can kind of see where the most of this is. Number of vehicles. This is clearly going to be goods. Yep. This flat top is crates of goods. Yep. And then crates of goods. You are... Food? Oh, food. Okay, yeah, refrigeration truck. Okay, that makes sense. Let's take a quick look at that route. So, Anka South. Yep, to Larry Central. So, I think Larry is on the other end of the map. Yeah. Ding. Quite a bit. This is quite a haul for a vehicle, for sure. But I'm sure that's making real good coin. So, all right, very good. Thank you very much for that. Next is Bogus. Let's see what they're up to. BTO, Let It Roll. BTO Let It Roll is the company for Bogus. Let's go ahead and crack open their information. I'm counting that as 1.2, or gosh, why am I saying it that way? 120.7 million. 120.7 million. There we go. Documented. Their infrastructure, in case you wanted to see the infrastructure right there. Okay. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and big trucks, big truck ops. They did finish it. This does say big truck ops. Thanks, John. They did post this on the Discord. So that is their thanks. Awesome. So let's take a look at their setup. Yep, again, there's a lot of this straightforward stuff when it comes to these Truck Lord matches. There's not really a ton of variance. The thing that I want to make sure we touch on is how some of the depots look. How some of the loading and unloadings look. So I like this. Very compact. And so that's going to be bringing fruit. And fruit, that probably goes there. And then it goes there. Yeah, very straightforward stuff, right? Yeah, because the trucks only allow for up, down, left, right, like cardinal direction like that, there's not really a ton of variance. So what do we got going on here for the rails? That looks like food? Goods, okay. So using rail for goods, yeah, makes perfect sense. Quite a bit of a distance. You got a bunch of trucks coming in. Let's take a gander at how many trucks you got coming in. Yeah, Couple of connections, all right. So these are pushing... Oh, so I bet you any money we've got the same jiggery pokery of do you go here or do you go here? Oh, okay. Oh, these... Oh, okay. This is hauling rubber. This is hauling rubber all the way here to get dropped off, turned into whatever, and then the goods are being made and pulled back. Yep. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, cool. I like it. I like it. Let's hit up a few more of these junction bits. How about Kayla? What we got here? Passengers, I'm sure? Yep, passengers for real. Yep, that was easy. I like these smaller transfer stations, honestly. It looks very cool. I don't really know what else to say about it. Huh. I wonder what's with the gap. I mean, that does look better considering now the station's the length of the truck. What I was doing is just connecting these all. I like that gap, though. I think that adds a bit of flavor. Yeah, oh, you can see the new GRF. These are the bigger trucks. Yeah. The way in which the bigger trucks operate. Let me see if I can find one with cargo. Let's see if well, I know we could do one going out. Here we go. So this is how it works. There are actually two vehicles locked together, each with their own storage. So that's how it works. So it says the capacity and it lists it twice. In a train, if you select a train, there's a button that says like total cargo. But that button doesn't really exist because trucks are only really, like in vanilla game, one thing. So here, capacities, and then total cargo, right? Because trains are supposed to have multiple cars. But that doesn't really exist for trucks. So when you go to cargo, or in the main menu for that truck, it's listed twice like that because the two separate cars, right? Right, good stuff. Poke around a little more, and then we should scoot on to the next. Very cool, yeah. I like that doubling up because, well, you'll see how I build my stations. I never get this doubling up like that because I always do one ways. I do rows, I guess. But in terms of trucks, I do truckin rows. That's how I do. Okay, anything else for Bo Gus? We tapped on the train bits. I think we're good. I think that covers most everything. They actually also got some of the diamond mine stuff going on. So let's go ahead and talk about their storybook. And then we'll do their shared vehicle orders. And that should pretty much wrap that up. Yep, I'll scroll all the way to the bottom so you can see. Yeah, there's 120.7 mil. I said it right that time. Look at that. Pop's income value vehicles. Yeah. Yep. Very cool. Very well progressed. Let's take a look at the vehicle types. I'm going to assume very similar from everything else. These look like refrigerator cars. Nope, rubber. Okay. The coloring threw me off. So there's rubber. This is oil. Yep. The year just changed. So profit this year is going to be pretty zero. We got some really big of the wood trucks like that. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Okay. Cool. So there you has it for that. We talked about their book. I think there's nothing else for that. So we will say thank you very much to Bo Gus. Okay. I'm going to go take a small break. I'm going to pause the recording. I will be right back. All right. Just need to get up and move around a bit. We finished off Bo Gus. Now it's time for Cyber Psycho. Let's see how far they got. Cyber Psycho, Psychotic Transport, the classic title. The classic title. Let's take a look at their spec sheet here. 261 million is what I'm going to put down on my form here. 261 million. You can see all of their information right here. Gives a bit of a view of their infrastructure. Yeah, let's take a look at the map. Let's see what we can do about this. Oh, found it. Ding. Gosh, they did that really well with the street lettering. Thanks, John. That's very cool. Oh, y'all are spoiling me rotten. I appreciate it, but y'all are spoiling me rotten about it. Again, very clean lines. Anywhere you can see a little bit of diagonal, it's a bit of a giveaway for a train, right? So their train is absolutely a passenger line. Yep, looks like this one is a crap ton of mail. There are passengers waiting here, so I would assume there are some. Let's see, are you all mail? Oh, they're all mail. All right. The passengers must be for trucks. So what is your coverage? Yep, okay. There are some truck bits in there. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's just take a gander. Let's see some of their routes. Then we'll go through their storybook and their shared routes and everything else. So yeah, very common setup here. A bunch of lumber. Lumber is really great on this map. You don't start with lumber mills. You have to purchase them for about $1 million. And they produce a crap ton of product that go to factories. So let's take a gander at Linda. There's 3 towns right here. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So Cybercycle was able to get 3 of these things bumped in. So this is 198, 198, and 248. That's a lot of lumber. So let's find out where you're going. The Billy Factory. There we go. Bit of a jaunt. Yeah, that's quite a bit of a jaunt for vehicles. So that's doing that. And then it looks like Billy South is what's bringing in the goods. Now, it looks like there's goods being brought back. Do you not accept goods? You do accept goods. You do have goods from Billy South? Oh, okay. The ones that are empty and the ones that are full look exactly the same. That's why I was confused. Okay, I was like, oh crap, did Margaret not accept goods? Nope, that's all fine and fair. So back to the map. We'll take a look at some of the other spots. Let's see some of their junctions as well. We'll take a look at some of their stations. Yep. Very clean lines on the station here. Yep. Trucks coming in will take the right side of the track. And then as they want to leave, they'll go and they'll leave out the right side, but that won't be blocking. So that's a fine station setup for sure. Let's try to find something a little more complex. Yep, very much same deal. Some one-way action. Coming in, going out. Row, row. Roll on, roll off. That's the idea with those. I've seen Cybercycle build some pretty dope terminus stations as well. Ah, this is a neat design. I like this. Amy transfer. What do you cover? Oh, okay. I get it. Yep. Very straightforward. Oh, we'll pick on a few more stations here. Yeah, that's the double compression bit again. Which I didn't. I know that I'm using myself as like a good point of reference because like I can talk about my build and my logic. I can't really speak for other players other than our observations. But, you know, that's kind of the fun of this tournament as well. I always ask folks to record their playthrough. And then we can have like a conversation of it. Other folks can see their playthrough. And then what I do is I build a playlist. And I have everyone's playthrough in this playlist. And you can see how everyone did. So there's like my video and like whomever else did their recordings. And the summary video at the end where I talk about who won. And it's really great closure. It's a lot of fun. So these tournaments, just to talk real quick here, as we're wrapping up Cybercycle, are open to anyone. Become a member of the Megacycle Entertainment Discord server. Just say you want to participate, and that's it. I spin you up a server. I spin it up with a password-protected layer, and that way not other players are jumping in and screwing with your run. It's been worked flawlessly ever since we started doing this almost 2 years ago now. It's been crazy. So, Alonia, I'm guessing. Very, very compact setup here. It's interesting because it kind of looks like these are set to full load, which I didn't do, which it's fine to do that way. 100%. I probably should have done full load on my passenger bits. I didn't. But anyway, that wraps up Cybercycle. Let's go ahead and check out their shared orders. This looks like goods. Yep. And this looks like wood and passengers, rubber, I would guess. Yep. All right. Yep. Very straightforward stuff. Yeah. Very cool. All right. Excellent work. Yeah. Well, storybook. I don't think I did the storybook yet. So storybook. There you are. Get that all the way down there. Yep. 261 mil is what I got written down here. Sets them at about 2,000 vehicles. So it looks like folks have been around the 1,000 to 2,000 mark. More or less. Most likely more, but anyway. Thank you, Cyberpsycho, for that. Next is Scarfester. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I apologize if I didn't. Truckers Union for Scarfester. Yeah. Let me double check. I want to make sure for sure I got that name right. Scarfester. Yep. Okay. Yep. And Truckers Union Limited. Oops. I'm a little too far here. Still a little too far here. Here we go. Truckers Union Limited. So there is their information. 110 million. So far, the 100 million range to 120 million range has been tight. Really tight. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, it's been pretty freaking tight. So, there is that. Let's go ahead and take a gander at what they got a brewing. Ooh, okay. So, oil, right away, right? And let's see here. Maria Forest, that's bringing... that's taking the goods out. So this must only be bringing in oil, right? Yeah, very straightforward. So that's bringing oil to... Let's grab a train. Let's talk it out. Oh, boy. A whole mess of this I still don't really fully understand. From Logan North to Maria Valley. So I'm just going off of the suffix, really. This doesn't say load, so I'm assuming it should drop off. So yeah, this is just running oil back and forth. It's keeping the line very occupied. Again, it's what we discussed before, is you want to keep your trains full all the time, right? So trains are going up here, grabbing oil, dropping off, and then probably going here, grabbing more oil. Yep, and then getting back up here, dropping off at, here we go, Logan Transfer, then pick up at Logan North, and then maybe also picking up at Logan West. So that's actually an interesting thing to discuss. What they've done is they have had no problems with their trains making stops along the way to pick up more stuff. So that's actually a pretty cool way to handle that. I never thought of doing that. I always do like one-stop stations, and that's kind of it. Here we got a very tight setup here. Lumber there, and rubber there, which all comes to this factory here. The factory then produces goods. Goods are here, and they go right into Robert, I'm sure. But let's double check that route. Yep, very straightforward stuff. These games are really great because you don't have to do a ton of explaining as to how something operates. Like, I honestly don't understand some of these rail signals. A lot of these players are really, really great at this game, and it's a lot of fun to play with and against them, so to speak. And there's a lot of cool stuff I'm always learning every time I pop it up. But still, the beautiful thing of OpenTTD is it's unique that you can pop it open and just see, like, okay, I've got a pretty good idea of how this works, yeah? And that's just what you get for playing quite a bunch. So this is defo going to be, yep, passenger line. Passengers and mail, yep, absolutely. They went with the monorail, which is a solid choice. Monorail really doesn't open until 1998? 97? Something like that? I don't remember. But that's, you know, you don't really get it to the end of these sessions. So to have it built, you're still able to pull a ton of money. Yep, lumber goes there. And then I'm sure that's taking goods to Billy, right? Lots of good clean routes. This is great. Yep, nonstop to Billy. There you go. No problem about that. No problem. There's no problem about that. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more to discuss here. But still, solid gameplay. Yeah. What's that supposed to be? Oh, a tunnel. Ooh. Some players were creative with the tunnels, so much so that this is still connected to the town and a house got built out here. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's interesting. Huh. Alright. Alright. Okay, cool. Learned something new today. I did not know that's how that would work. I guess it's connected by a road, so it's plenty legal, but I thought towns wouldn't expand that far. Huh. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at their storybook. And you can see it right here. Sorry about the delay on that. Had a bit of a sneeze. Oh, okay, well that woke up my brain. Yep, 110 mil, that's what I got written down. 14 mil every year, 400 vehicles, nice, nice. And then let's take a look at their most common freights. Yep, looks like lumber to me, goods, lumber, rubber or oil. Rubber, yep, perfect. Okay. Nothing else really to discuss here. Thank you very much. Scarfester. Excellent, excellent. Okay, that is that. Next is the dude. Okay, Autobahn. Let's take a look at Autobahn. 857.9. I'm going to call that 858 million. That only makes sense. Okay, 858. This is their infrastructure costs. Very impressive. The costs, not the money, the costs. Up on the thanks, John. Holy crap. Oh, I like the chain link look. I like that chain link look. That's really cool. Okay, let's take a gander at their stuff. Sweet gibbers. How in the world? 1/8 of a million. Holy crap. Alright, well that's just impressive. Let's take a look at some of their junctions, then we can pick apart some of the cities. Man, they really went ham on town growth. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, let's take a look at some of their stations. That's an interesting setup for sure. Now, building it this way, very similar to how the other players have done it, this definitely reduces blockages. You'll see in my world what I mean by a blockage. But keep in mind how this looks. How this is one station stacked this way singularly all the way down. At most, a truck comes in here and blocks another truck. At most. So this reduces blockages pretty smartly, and other players have done it the same. So I'm not just calling out the dude. Other players have also built it very intelligently. That thin, long road. You know, that thin, long setup like this. I wish I could unpause the game and play a little bit. We have a script in place that actually pauses the game immediately when it hits the year of 2000, which is our deadline. Yep, you can see this double split like that. So that's also very interesting. The way that's handled. Trucks come in, park on either side, and then leave. So this is also very row-esque, I would say. Okay, let's take a look at how they've been able to get some of these other things set up. Yep, Margaret. I want to pick on this a little bit here. CB. Yeah, I don't know what that does. You can go away, thanks. Town grows every day. Every 1 day? Wow. So that means water and food are being brought in somewhere. In this scenario, on this kind of map, it's not sufficient just to transport population around. You have to also bring in food and water. So somehow, food and water is also being brought in here. That's absolutely crazy. I don't even know how to pick this apart. You're probably bringing in goods. Yep. Okay. Any other major import routes? This is most likely doing, yep, passengers and mail. That makes sense. You are bringing in most likely passengers. Yep. Yeah, there's got to be some water and food happening as well to get it to grow. Otherwise, you'll just get a message that the town doesn't grow without those things. And your goods, I'm sure. Yep. I'm not really too sure how this works. Nope, that's all passengers. That's all goods. Okay. I'll have to poke their brain about it because I wasn't able to get anything expanding until I had food and water in the thing. Yeah, these are all passengers. That's all passengers. Yeah, well, kudos to them. I mean, this is all very incredible. Yeah. All right. And the goods is coming from here, from Sonia Heights, to here at Sonia Exchange or Forest, either one. And that's bringing in the goods. That's crazy. Oh, there's two Sonias? Oh, Sonia and Sonia. Well, either way. Let's take a look at a few more of their junctions here. Yep. That lineup. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to pick their brain to see how they got their towns to expand, because I had a dickens of a time trying to get one going on. Very cool. Okay. Anything else we want to touch on? Yeah, they've got many, many, many other towns also built up the same. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I have no idea how this worked. Yeah, I'll definitely have to poke them on that. But still, very well done from the dude. Let's go ahead and check out their storybook. Yeah, 382 million in the first year is absolutely incredible. Most likely starting with those rail lines to get the people moving around. Yep. And they actually happen to max out in vehicles. 5,010 is the most amount we could have. We had a hard limit of 5,000 for the trucks and 10 for the trains. They kind of had nothing to do for the last year. So good on them. Absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at their Autobahn. Yep. 538. These are just goods, 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 and goods. You can tell right away. This is passenger. Oh, this is lumber, right? They stacked. They look like the passenger buses. We got like 8 or 9 or 10 orders of woods, and then passengers for more or less the rest of it. Yeah, these are more lumber ones. That's absolutely incredible. Well done, the dude. 858 million. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you for that. Okay, and last but not least is myself, John Megacycle, with John T. Megacycle Transportation. Yep, let's go ahead and get my total here. 73.1. I'll just put it at 73. I think if it's above 0.5, I'll mention it as 0.5 or something. Or I should just round. But 73 mil, that's my total right there. Not too shabby. I was actually pretty happy with my run. This is going to be really, really straightforward. Started with Sarah to Paul when it came to passengers. And it's just a big old passenger train going back and forth, back and forth. I'm actually really happy with how I set this up. So stuff comes in. It goes to Paul South. And then it goes to Paul Central or Paul. And it only loads. It doesn't drop. So there's 2 opportunities to get passengers, and then it goes all the way back to Sarah, drops off at Sarah, then either goes to Sarah Central or Sarah South. So pick up at Sarah South, and then go to Paul, right? That's kind of how I got that set up. I got some connections in because I wanted to see if we can make Sarah a little bigger, and we needed to get water and food, which I think we've delivered. Water delivered, food delivered. Yep. There's all that. So that's all done there. Yeah. What else did I accomplish? What was another big thing? Oh, I tried to do the lumber thing, which worked out pretty well. I have trucks doing the truck thing. I didn't want to do too much on trains, even though I was allowed to have 10. But this is taking lumber from here, from Robert, all the way to Arthur, where it drops off. And then it picks up lumber from Arthur West and then goes all the way back. So that's, I kept my trucks full about 98% of the time. I did do a little bit of rail. It was with oil. I thought oil was going to produce a bit harder, and it kind of didn't. But this is just transporting goods from here to Brittany, and then from Maria to here, I believe. Yeah, Emmanuel North. Yep. Yep, my stuff was pretty straightforward. We'll check out some of my stations. This is what I was talking about with the way they built it long and thin. So when stuff comes in, I built stations like this, and the problem is, if a truck at the very end is waiting for to be loaded, but trucks in the middle are getting loaded first, there can be these blockages. So now I should know really to build them thinner and wider, or thin and long, I guess is how I was saying it. These don't really help. But I was pretty happy with it. Yeah. Didn't come out on top. I actually think I came out on the bottom, and that's okay with me. I had a bunch of trucks here bringing in stuff to the factory, and then I was taking goods from there. This was another long-haul truck route. So this is taking goods from where I've got it selected all the way to here. That doesn't quite sound right. Oh, Victoria, right. So that's taking goods to Victoria, and then it's picking up more goods, and then it's bringing it to Margaret. Yeah, pretty straightforward with that. I don't really have anything else to talk about. So let's go ahead and grab my storybook. Okay. Yeah, nothing really to write home about. I was actually really happy with this run, even though it's clear I scored on the bottom. But I was still pretty darn happy about the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll take a look at my shared vehicle orders. It's going to be the same story as everyone else. Wood and goods and goods. Yeah. And then some of the passenger double-headed. I don't know how would you call these types specifically. Articulated bus. Yeah. So, all right. That's all I really have to say about that. So let's get the final bits for the tournament figured out, right? Let's who won? Well, the Dude at 858 million. Then Guild Games at 530 million. Cyberpsycho at 261 million. Bo Gus at 120.8 million. Cinder Elm Creek at 114.7 million. Scarfester at 110 million. And then JohnMegacycle at 73 million. Really tight. From 110 to 120 million. We had 3 players stacked right in there. Real tight. Real tight fight for that. Solid stuff. So, that concludes our Truck Lord Mk3 tournament. As I said before, if you'd like to join these tournaments, feel free, hit us up, join us on the Discord, say, hey, I want to get involved in some of this OpenTTD stuff, let me in. And I'll set you up a server, we'll schedule, we do votes to see what we're going to play next, and that's kind of the brunt of it. So thanks for joining, and I hope to catch you all next time. Hey there, guys, gals, fans, and pals, thanks for checking out my video. I also want to take a moment to thank all my supporters and donators, and if you'd like to join up with me and game with my crew, all the information to get connected is in the description below. Thanks again, and I hope to catch you next time.